Immanuel Kant's philosophy of the categorical imperative is a deontological moral theory, which means that it judges the morality of an action based on its conformity to a set of rules or duties, rather than on its consequences. Kant argued that the categorical imperative is a universal moral law that applies to all rational beings, regardless of their culture, religion, or personal preferences. Kant formulated the categorical imperative in two different ways. First, he outlines the universalizability principle. This idea tells us that we should only act according to principles that we would want everyone else to act according to. For example, if we are considering stealing something, we should ask ourselves if we would want everyone else to steal as well. If the answer is no, then we should not steal something. The second is the formula of humanity. This formula states that we should always treat other people as ends in themselves, rather than as means to our own ends. This means that we should never use other people for our own benefit without their consent. We should also respect the autonomy of others and allow them to make their own choices. Kant argued that the categorical imperative is the supreme principle of morality because it is based on reason. Reason is the faculty that distinguishes us from other animals, and it is what makes us moral beings. When we act in accordance with the categorical imperative, we are acting as rational beings, and we are therefore fulfilling our moral duty. Kant's philosophy of the categorical imperative has been highly influential in modern ethics and moral philosophy. It has been used to justify a wide range of moral principles, including justice, fairness, and human rights. It has also been used to criticize unethical practices such as discrimination, exploitation, and torture. As with any philosophy, there are criticisms of the categorical imperative. Some find it too restrictive and demanding. For example, it could mean that we might have to sacrifice our own interests and well-being in order to act morally. Others think that it is too abstract and lacks clear guidance on how to act morally in specific situations. This can make it difficult to apply the theory to real-world moral dilemmas. Some contend that it is unrealistic since it requires us to be perfectly rational and impartial in our moral judgments. However, humans are not perfect rational beings, and we often make decisions based on our emotions, biases, and personal relationships. Others feel that it ignores the importance of consequences since it focuses on the form of our actions, rather than their consequences. This means that we may be morally required to act in ways that have negative consequences. It is important to note that Kant himself was aware of some of the limitations of the categorical imperative. He acknowledged that it could be difficult to apply in some situations. He argued that we should use our moral intuitions to help us resolve moral dilemmas. Kant's argument was that we should think carefully about our actions and to consider their implications for others. His categorical imperative gives us a framework for making moral judgments, even if it isn't entirely perfect. What are your thoughts on the categorical imperative? Do you think it's a good framework for making moral decisions? Or is it a too restrictive and strict code for anyone to follow? Thanks for watching. Please give me a like if you enjoyed this video, and please comment to let me know your thoughts on it. Also, check out our other videos about other philosophical topics.